We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles Mackenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This week's pod is supported by Manscaped. Manscaped has just launched in the UK. We've gone years without using the right tools for the job, and now you can be one of the first people in England to experience Manscaped's life-changing products. Manscaped is a skin-safe trimmer for below-the-belt shaving. Their 7,000 RPM motor has quiet stroke technology, and I know you fellas like a quiet stroke. So they tell us that Manscaped's technology will make your testes their besties, and you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code NQAT at manscaped.com. That's code NQAT for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com.
So,
Yes.
it's been quite extraordinary week in the world.
It
Jose
has.
Mourinho still hasn't conceded defeat. I mean, wait, no, sorry, I've got my wires
He has
crossed
not
again.
left the Old Trafford dressing room yet.
I mean, I'm in a bit of a daze because I'm not one for consuming news media or as a general rule. But last night I watched quite a lot of CNN for the first time, I think maybe ever in my life. I had to ask somebody who Jake Tapper was.
Right.
Jake Tapper seems very reasonable. Is that a controversial opinion? Is he?
No,
Is he known?
he's very smart, reasonable
Right.
anchor. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yes, no,
There you go,
the
that's my
election was
news
won
media
by
opinion.
John King, undoubtedly, MVP. The man has some gravitas when it comes to an election map.
He's no Peter Snow though, is he? Did they have Tories under a cliff? If not, then it was not a good election.
No, but everyone's in swingometers. They call them needles in the States.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, yeah. Yes, the last time we spoke on this here podcast, we were still wondering how President Trump, soon to be former President Trump, was going to steal the election. I'm still not entirely convinced he's not going to find a way.
Yeah, I think it's got to the stage where all the world leaders are congratulating the other
All
guy.
the world leaders
apart
are,
from
but none of the Republicans are, except for Jeb Bush and George Bush.
Yeah, W.
And,
a couple of hours ago.
And Mitt Romney. That's it.
Yeah. It's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. But that's because they've got to only count the legal votes.
Yeah, that's it. It's all a ruse. Anyway, yes, no one. He's not going to steal the election. This is it's done. There are no legal challenges that are realistic. And when your biggest gambit is Rudy Giuliani doing a press conference in a dildo shop, near a dildo shop, then that's, maybe he popped into the viewing booths afterwards to, rustle up some ballots or something like that. Anyway, it's done and dusted. The world can return to sanity, and United were gonna win the league, right? That period's over and done with. Now we're coming back to normalcy. I think that's the word, isn't it? We're using now.
I mean, there is a solid argument to say that the status quo was a significant part of the reason that the problem occurred in the first place. So perhaps we shouldn't concentrate so much on getting back to normal and maybe try and make the world a bit slightly better place for a few people, but including Bruno Fernandes. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Bruno Fernandes, there we go, there's a link. Bruno Fernandes made the world a slightly better place for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We were heavily critical of Bruno's woeful performance along with the rest of United's side in Istanbul, but he turned it on in the first half of this game with 2 goals. I mean, I was going to say a goal and an assist, but this is a stolen joke, but Marcus Rashford cannot claim that ball went in off his halo. Although if anyone deserves to claim that goal, given what he did immediately after the game, it's nice that, isn't it? Very nearly scored a goal, then massively shifted government policy, then went to bed. Good work.
I mean,
Marcus
as you do on a Saturday. Yes, I mean, it was interesting, this game, wasn't it? So 20 minutes of Everton being pretty good, scoring, and having, a lot of ball in good positions and looked very dangerous down their left, our right, didn't they? For I mean, what was it? 15, 20 minutes or so, Everton felt like they were really in this game, and United were going to struggle, and, instead of doom scrolling political punditry, we could doom scroll United Twitter. But that's it. That is all. United got themselves back into the game and never let go of it.
Yeah, and we ended up joy scrolling both because both things happened on the same day. Yeah, I mean, United had 6 shots to Everton's 3 in the first 15 minutes of this game. There was a period where United were really on top very early on, but they just looked very ropey whenever Everton attacked. And so there's a long ball from Pickford. Lindelof contests the ball with Calvert-Lewin and heads it.
Contests.
Assists. Bernard, very, very, very fine finish from Bernard, who...
Yeah,
I'm sure
that bit was good. Everything else that led up to it was very poor from United. I mean, it's just a straight long ball. And, I mean, Lindelof's really weak. He doesn't even get off the ground, which is pretty pathetic. I mean, sure, Calvert-Lewin can beat many a defender in the air because he's very strong in the air, and it's, but it's very rudimentary. And 2 mistakes happen in that. One probably should have been Maguire attacking that, even if it is on Lindelof's side. It's just a straight long ball. And then if Maguire's not attacking it, who's covering? I mean, this is basic defending. One attacks, one covers. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's normally so good one-on-one, gets turned really easily. I don't think it's a horrible mistake, but he's not tight. He doesn't get tight to Bernard all the time, and the ball goes through his legs as a result.
I think that's listen. This isn't just a narrative peddling thing. I watched this goal a number of times because I was just mesmerised by the state of the defending, and I think to be very critical of Wan-Bissaka in this is really harsh because no one is expecting once Lindelof's the one that heads the ball, the fact that it just falls into the path of Bernard is quite surprising to everyone. And Bernard is really quick. He snaps it out of his feet quickly. So Wan-Bissaka doesn't really get a chance to get in tight and make a challenge. I would say there's not a lot of time elapses in that. Maybe you could say, oh, he should read the game better or whatever. And I might just be wrong about this, but it looked one where it's just hard, isn't it? Football's hard. When a really good attacking player has got the ball and is doing good stuff, it can be really hard to get your defending right.
Yes, I mean, I think he defends like he's not there, basically. I mean, he might as well not have been. He doesn't make Bernard do anything different and just provides a shield. But I'm not being super critical. I'm just saying, in some situations, that's going to be defended better than that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't a great goal all round. I mean, Lindelof has got to at least challenge for that, and he didn't. And he's just very weak in those situations, isn't he?
He did challenge for it because it came off his head. So, he's the one that headed the ball.
So maybe if he's got his feet 6 inches off the ground, if he'd got a solid forehead on it.
Yeah. Yep, quite possibly so. Real bad defending, real bad. And way too easy for Everton. But from that point on, for the rest of the first half, United showed a phenomenal amount of character, I thought. Yeah. And second game in a row with a brilliant Luke Shaw cross, resulting in a fine-headed goal. Bruno
2 assists in 2 games, which is as many assists as he got in all competitions last season.
And as many assists as Paul Pogba's got goals in the last 45 games, which is a really shocking statistic.
Luke Shaw had 7 assists in 6 seasons before the last 2 games. I mean, I don't think he's going to go on a streak of getting double figures assists this season because I'm not really sure he's got that in his locker. 2 nice balls in the last 2 games. I think they feel more like one-offs than a regular thing. But his all-round game was solid, and there's something to say that he now has competition for his place, a proper left-sided defender. I mean, I have a lot of hope for Williams, but he's super young and he's right-footed. But now Alex Telles is at the club. Shaw's got to pick up his game, otherwise he's not going to be in the side, one imagines.
Well, and now he's not going to be in the side because, of course, Luke Shaw's form went on a big uptick, so he got injured later on in the game.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. But it was a brilliant goal, like brilliant ball from Shaw. Really composed, took his time, found this spot perfectly, and maybe that was a little bit of confidence coming back. But Fernandes storming in, leaping header, pointing at his head like, oh, look, I could score goals with my head as well.
Brian Robson-esque, that wasn't it?
Yeah,
the third man run and then powered it in. Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then not long after that, put in a beautiful cross. I thought Rashford had scored it in real time. I mean, it's clear afterwards that there's actually a good sized gap. But it's showing here that Rashford got an assist for a goal. Oh, I guess he must have passed it to Bruno before he made the run into the box.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. That should not count.
No, but clearly it does.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not. That's always a great ball from dead ball situations or live play. The ball that's going to sneak in at the back post, always a difficult one for the defenders and the goalkeeper, because the goalkeeper's got to anticipate what happens and could look very silly if he dives out of the way of a header straight down the middle. So it's a good one, a bit of fortune, but United from that point onwards were in total control, and this is and I'm not being negative. It's the frustration, isn't it, that we can produce a performance like this of composure. Some very nice attacking play at times, a bit messier in the second half, but never under real pressure. And yet put in, a massively just awful performance in midweek and a really limp one against Arsenal and pretty limp against Chelsea, albeit there are more caveats with that one. And just the swings in performance. It shouldn't be like this. And I haven't got an answer other than, it's kind of on Ole because he's the leader, he's the coach, he's the manager, he's the CEO of this team, and it all flows from the top, or a fish rots from the head down, doesn't it? And the things that are wrong have been wrong for a long time, And there's a frustration here because we're looking for sparks of hope in a very good win against a good Everton side, albeit one that's lost the last 2 in a row, 3 in a row now. Yeah. There should be loads and loads of, yes, we're moving forward. But I don't know what we're going to get with the next game. I mean, at all.
No, and that's fine. And I don't think we should. I mean, I think it's good that we beat Everton, whatever comes next. It's good that this is still part of the story. Because, I mean, the one thing that we can say, so there was a lot of stuff swirling around Solskjaer. It felt very premature to me for lots of reasons. This is not to say that if United appointed Pochettino tomorrow, that wouldn't be completely sensible, So I think, I'm not saying that's not a sensible move, but I don't think Solskjaer has warranted sacking by any means on the strength of the last few months. Except if you think that somehow we should be really consistent, all those things. You spent, 25 minutes last week talking about the imbalance in the squad and how it wasn't addressed in the summer and all those kinds of things. And so...
sure, yes. And that's all true. It's all true. It's true that he does not extract more than the sum of the parts out of this squad. It's true that the performance levels of many of the players are wildly up and down. And it's true that he has not been given the right tools for the job. These things can all be true at the same time, and I think they are.
But the bit that's not true is that he doesn't get more than the sum out of the parts out of the players in totality. What is true is he does not do it all the time. He sometimes massively gets more than the sum of the parts. Now, my pet theory is that the players really like him but don't particularly rate him. Like, that'd be my pet theory on where he stands with the squad. Like, because they haven't downed tools for Ole. They are trying their little socks off for Ole, but I think they're frustrated as well about some of the coaching decisions. You must be frustrated about some of the subs and things like that as a totality. I mean, so he went back to, let's talk about some of his decisions here that went right for him. Went back to the 4-2-3-1 with the McFred in midfield. That's not mine either. That's a straight up lift, but it is their official designation. Yeah, no, and I'm not claiming credit, but I am using it from now on. McFred is the name of that pairing. He went with the McFred, Chicken McFred, in midfield, and Fred was brilliant. Actually, he just like fantastic on the ball and off. Loads of, I think he won the ball back 6 times, and he was really like silky with the ball at his feet, and he's clearly got that about him, hasn't he? Sometimes. So Fred did his part well enough that the McFred worked effectively. Fernandes had a really good game in front of him. Mata was nondescript, I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't really in the game, was he? So
no, I saw Martial getting a lot of criticism, but I actually thought his hold-up play was good, and he that one chance early where he pulled the ball down and he just steered it just wide. He did so well to turn and open up that space for himself, and I don't think he would warrant particular criticism. I thought Rashford struggled a lot, actually, and there was a couple of one-on-ones that he didn't take, and it looked like his passing range was shot, a couple of really loose through balls that he just overhit a number of times, and Ollie said afterwards that he's struggling with an injury, which kind of made sense of his performance, essentially.
Performance is, he's not really got into the season so far, I don't think.
Well, except when he smashed a 10-minute hat-trick against Leipzig, obviously.
Apart from that one, yeah. McFred in midfield, I mean, the challenge with that midfield pairing, as good as it was against Everton, is always the passing range, isn't it? It's very limited, and neither of them is a natural defensive midfielder. So you're hoping that they've each got enough of that to do the job, and that seems to be working. It gives United a very solid base in midfield, and positionally disciplined, very disciplined. I think in a way that Pogba is not. Can be, but is not routinely. The passing range, I think, is limited. I mean, Fred was good against Everton. I don't think that is true week on week with Fred at all. And McTominay, he's not the crab he once was, but he is, he's not going to be pinging 60-yard balls. So we lose something with this midfield pairing. I think Ollie trusts them, clearly trusts them, and he knows what he's going to get out of them for the most part. I'm not sure that's a pairing that's going to win United a Premier League title. Of course, we're not going for that this season. We're just trying to build some kind of momentum. And Ollie's trying to get himself through a difficult spot by going to the players that he knows he's going to at least get 7 out of 10 performance from.
I think McTominay pinged a 60-yard crossfield ball in this game. Just a small point of pedantic fact, not making a significant point. He doesn't do it very often. Just before 1 million people jump down our necks, he did do that once in this game, but he doesn't commonly do it. What is Fred's passing range? Does Fred have a limited passing range?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's very loose with his passing range. I mean, he doesn't have the range of Pogba. I mean, Pogba's passing range is world class, obviously. And it's the rest of the game that's in question, I think. Not that bit. He's very loose in a way that you definitely don't want him to be, or he's very safe. So we have Fred in the side for industry.
Yeah,
he's under Herrera. They spent £50 million on a player instead of giving Herrera a new contract. But
his best games, he's good on the ball, Fred. I feel like he uses the ball well, and he is progressive, and he's a kind of progressive thinker with the ball. But they're not frequent. I'm not like lavishing praise on Fred. I just feel like it's really important when United are so wildly divergent from week to week. It feels like a mistake to put any of these players in boxes in a way, because they just offer such different things in different games. It's very confusing.
Well, yeah, no, sure. But I mean, you can take the totality of Fred's career, and it'd be hard to say that he's a complete footballer and he doesn't have significant week. I mean, he was dreadful against Arsenal.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we might have talked about that more if Pogba hadn't been more dreadful. Dreadfuler.
Talking about players we've talked about being dreadful, Harry Maguire, really good game. Lots of people commenting on that. People saying that's probably one of his best games in a red shirt so far. Up against Calvert-Lewin, did a fine job. Won the duels, marshalled the defence. Good performance. I mean, of course, wasn't getting torn at 1-on-1 a lot of the time.
No, and Calvert-Lewin's the kind of striker I think Maguire will do well against. He's not the one that makes the darting runs and gets him on the half turn, which is where Maguire is at his weakest. But yes, good performance, and of course nearly got cut in half by Pickford, who was going for a double defender. You know, I was going to come out with some alliteration there, but I completely failed on the spot.
Double defender destruction.
That's it. Very good. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
He was trying to get the total of defenders he's ruined up past the 150 million mark, wasn't he? That's what he was trying to do.
That's it, yeah. Turnout 100% when it comes to kneecapping defenders. I mean, it's absolutely shocking. Not only they had a piece in the Athletic shortly afterwards, I guess they'd check with the VAR or the Premier League board on this one that there wasn't enough contact. I mean, he fully thumped his knee into the guy's midriff, and the ball at the moment of contact is about 10 foot in the air.
Yeah, I thought maybe the reason that you wouldn't give a penalty was because Maguire hands off Pickford, and that's kind of the thing that results in Pickford dropping the ball. So maybe that's
then
where
you give a free kick to Everton, which was not what was given.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I wonder whether when you VAR it, if you see a foul in the build-up to before the penalty, what happens? I don't know. But to just say that's not a penalty because there's not enough contact, it's absolutely mad. I mean, I have to say, a few weeks ago, we just completely forgot. Patreon backers will know we did cover it briefly after the show had finished recording, but we completely forgot to say that Chelsea had an absolute stonewall penalty where Maguire had his arms wrapped around Azpilicueta, maybe? Can't remember who it was now, but it was just one of the most...
Yeah, it was. Six of one, half dozen of another. Yeah.
I mean, just an absolute stonewaller. So it's not like, you know, we didn't mean to not mention that out of partisanship, because now is not the time for partisanship or something. But this was...
Oh, we're bringing everyone together.
Apparently
this is not red versus blue. This is... purple.
Pickford clearly was not interested in bipartisanship and wanted to kick Harry Maguire in the stomach. I mean, how he got away with that. Having said that, how Bruno Fernandes ended up this game, having been booked in the first half, how he got through this game without being sent off is an absolute mystery. He committed about 11 first yellow card offences after the first yellow card.
There were a few little ones. Can you remember one that was significant? An obvious yellow?
Yeah, it was on Holgate. Maybe it was on Everton's right hand side, and he overstretched and fouled the player. But he was just narky and aggro all the way through the game. Like he was trying to fight someone in that game.
Good.
But no fights were needed. I mean, Decore had that massive chance late on, which was a proper scary moment at 2-1. And at 2-1, obviously, Everton were still in this. You say United controlled the game, didn't really create much in the way of note. In the second half, there was the Rashford one-on-one with Pickford that he kind of hit straight at him effectively. And then it wasn't till after... hooray, Edinson Cavani came on and scored a really lovely goal at the end. It was so nice. And Bruno was kind of clearly like running up the pitch. You could see him going, I'm on a hatch. I'm literally going to have to pass this, aren't I? Because he's in a much better position and he's Edinson Cavani, so I should probably pass it to him, shouldn't I? But Cavani did a beautiful job.
5 fouls and 5 tackles won. I was just double checking from Bruno. Lovely goal at the end, and you know the right pass and a lovely. I mean, that's what you do get from Cavani. The man has always been able to finish. I mean, may have doubts about his fitness, sharpness, and age and wage packet, but not about the quality of his finishing for sure.
Yeah, I'd say I've got doubts about his age and pay packet, but I think his sharpness is going to be fine, innit? And his fitness will be seems to be like it'll be well managed and it'll be back. But I love the way he shaped to cut it into the far post and just pulled it into the near post instead. Really lovely finish, well executed. And a comfortable 3-1 win. Solskjaer's job is safe for another
14 days.
Yeah, whatever, like week. I don't know. Yeah, he's not getting sacked in this international break now.
No, I know that's right. This is the international break for sacking, so it's the time that you do it to give the new man a little bit of time to bed in before the winter transfer window, typically. But and Poch has been out there showing off his locks, giving old Edward Wood the nod and the wink. Come and get me eyes.
Back in the country and back on TV.
Oh yeah. I
wonder what job he will take next. It is gonna be fascinating.
Well, there's a Barcelona job up at the end of the season. Of course, he's a former Espanyol man, so apparently had turned that one down before. Zidane is permanently on the brink.
Yeah.
So,
and Tuchel probably not. Exactly.
Paris Saint-Germain, yeah, I mean, depends. They'll give him to the end of the season, I'm sure. That depends how long Poch wants to be out of a job. And of course, Guardiola's contract is up in the summer, but does Poch want to wait around for that one? Because it's a much better bet if it comes to winning trophies and getting the right players than over a few miles west.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want more from the show in between shows, check us out on the socials. We are NQAT Pod on Instagram, Ed's at NQAT Pod on Twitter, and we are under our real names on Facebook at No Question About That. So anything else to say about this game? Anything else crucial that we've missed?
I don't think so. I mean, United ticked up one spot in the table after Leeds got thumped. So I think we're, 13th at the moment? Something like that? Whew, yes.
It's unbelievable.
Mixing it with the big boys.
I guess the one thing we should say about this game, having been so critical of Ole, is that the system and the selection worked, and there were a couple of fairly big gambles in this selection, and possibly could even say the subs worked too, although I'm not sure whether one counter-attacking goal really kind of counts in that way. It wasn't like systemically United were much better after the substitutions, but yeah,
no, but there's some power off the bench. I mean, Tuanzebe's just covering for Shaw there, and I assume Tellez will be back after the international break, and Cavani and Pogba has some heavy weight to bring off the bench for sure.
Yeah, Pogba's still just such. I mean, it's I know that this is lovely for all the people that just want to go, oh no, Pogba's rubbish. He's always been rubbish. It's like whatever. He's in woeful form and has been all season, and there's no signs of it coming back, and I'm not sure if he's going to play himself back into form playing 25 minutes every game. So I don't know what we're doing with Pogba as a general kind of approach.
No, but I mean, he's going to have to be back in the starting 11 at some point, just because he's Pogba. They'll want him to get back into form and fitness, and there's just so many games. Yeah.
But not for a little while.
No, not for a while. But of course, they all go off and play international football, and I presume Pogba will be away with France, and so they are getting games there, a couple each. And because in the middle of a raging pandemic across Europe, it's important that lots of different bubbles mix together as much as they possibly can, and take air travel, and go. And we've seen it already with international football, haven't we? Or international club football as well. I mean, how many Ajax players got tested positive for COVID? Like 9 or something like that. So it's great idea, this one.
Yeah, I mean the thing about the international break in particular, once they get back, it's just back to 2 games a week, and it's 2 games a week. So we play on the 21st, the 24th, the 29th, the 2nd, the 5th, the 8th, the 12th, the 15th, the 19th, the 23rd, the 26th, the 28th, the 2nd. Like, what are they trying to do to these people?
I think it's 12 games in... Is it 12 games in December? No, it can't be. That can't be right. It's a lot of games in December.
Do you know what? So we play on the 2nd, the 5th, the 8th, the 12th, the 15th, the 19th, the 23rd, the 26th and the 28th. That's 9 games in the month of December. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. And that's one of the things I wanted to say. There are no teams this season who've been consistent so far this season. Like, the closest you could say, Spurs are top of the league, I think, because I think Liverpool needed to win today to go back top of the league.
I think Leicester are, because Leicester won earlier.
Oh, really? Interesting. Well, there you go. So the league table shows you that none of the kind of big heavy hitters have been particularly consistent. City just looked exhausted in the second half of this game today against Liverpool. We'll talk about that in the backers content. You know, there is no one who has hit form and stuck to it. I mean, except Southampton, who obviously aren't going to continue this level throughout the season. Spurs aren't. Leicester might, but you know, I think there's some mitigation that almost seems to be not part of the conversation at all about fixture congestion on one hand, but the psychological impact of playing elite sport in, you know, how many people do you know personally, Ed, that have been super bummed out in the last week because lockdowns come in and just struggling, and you know, and footballers are human too. They it's not easy for them to be doing what they're doing in this environment.
I've no doubt Pogba was on Twitter doom scrolling through the US elections at 4 a.m. I wouldn't do that at all.
We can't call it doom scrolling anymore though, because it wasn't.
I don't know. Most of it was. I was like, oh no. He's only 95,000 votes up with 95,001 ballots to come in.
What are you saying, that the election result isn't decided yet? Is that what you're saying? There's a long way to go left in this one. No, but you know, so these players are human. Even the managers are human too. I don't mean, obviously the managers are human too, but they're going to be dealing with the struggles of all of this too. I just think we expect a lot, don't we? We really expect a lot, and we don't tend to take quite enough into consideration. No one is doing that well. I mean, United are doing particularly badly overall so far this season, but everyone's struggling in some way.
Yeah, look, completely true. It is difficult. I mean, it is. The manager's got to manage that. He's got to manage the challenges of it not being a normal season, of the players not being able to be outside of the bubble very much, or not at all now. Of some of them wanting to break that bubble, of rigid testing regimes. You know, and I know it's not a big deal, but it's quite unpleasant getting one of those things poked up your nose. So, you know, none of this is fun, for sure. That said, United do have one of the biggest squads in the Premier League. Of course, we doubt the quality of the depth of that squad. But, you know, those resources are there for Ole to manage. And at the moment, he's playing with quite a tight squad. And I suspect during December and January, when the schedule is insanely heavy, that he's going to have to go a bit wider. And then that'll be an interesting test. Because if we can't find consistency with his mostly preferred set of players, will he be able to do it with an even deeper bench?
Well, he's rotated quite a lot so far this season. I mean, certainly compared to what was happening in post-lockdown times.
Oh, sure,
when he could make those 5 subs. Do you think there's any mitigation on him personally finding it more difficult at the moment than one? Like, trying to judge him in this environment feels like it's a weird time. He's got a weird job
isn't the more
in his hands.
capable manager with the bigger range of tool sets the ones that should be thriving in this? I mean, I'm positing that without knowing the answer and saying that's definitely true, because I'm looking at Manchester City in 11th and they've had a tough start. They were also in the same position as United, starting it late, having no real pre-season. So that is definitely 100%, that is a big mitigation.
Yeah.
Of course, we've all had a lot of games now, should be up to some level of speed. Although, what the lack of pre-season means for their general fitness and preparation, we'll find out, won't we? If everyone runs out loads of speed at the end of the season, we might get a good answer on that one. So yeah, for sure there are mitigations, but it's difficult for everyone. I don't know it's necessarily more difficult for United.
No. No, absolutely. It's just trying to work out where we are, and for me personally, I'm just trying not to be too harsh. Trying not to get too swung by. I mean, I guess we just won 3-1, so we should be. Maybe I could be saying to be
we
reactive.
We can leave the doom until we get beaten by West Brom after the international break.
Yeah, I mean, the one I guess that maybe like you could look across at Chelsea and say, actually, Lampard's kind of addressed some of the really key issues there, and they're really firing now, but. It does change quickly, and United could go on a really good run. This is tended to be what's happened when Ole's bumped along the bottom. Is they've come back. We'll
see.
And gone on
it's West Brom and then Istanbul at Old Trafford. I mean, should win both those games, but who knows? And then it's Southampton and Paris Saint-Germain and West Ham and Leipzig after that, and then City. So two winnable games, 5 difficult games, although that's when the big performances tend to come out.
Yeah, I just think that the fixture list is almost irrelevant in this story. In terms of the history of Solskjaer's time at United so far, it's not like he's necessarily gone on brilliant runs when we've had favourable fixture lists.
Oh no, for sure, 100% true, 100% true. Although all things being equal, playing Manchester City should be tougher than playing West Brom.
It should indeed. In theory, it absolutely should. Who's higher in the table at the moment? Oh yeah, Man City. West Brom have only got 2 points, so they're not doing. No, 3. My bad.
Oh. Fraud. Stop the count.
Stop. I mean, listen, just a little brief diversion. It's going to be a short show today. But he said stop the count. And if they'd stopped the count right there, he definitely wouldn't have been the president. It was over. He'd lost if the count was stopped right then.
I mean, I love the juxtaposition of a whole bunch of Trump supporters in Pennsylvania outside a ballot counting office chanting stop the count, and a whole bunch of Trump supporters in Phoenix shouting "count the votes." Hey, got to find some amusement in, I'm sorry, it's a cliche. It's a cliche on CNN. Unprecedented times.
The rampant rise of irrational nationalism, and
indeed.
Well, that's all. It's all fine now because he's gone. That's how it works. He was the only problem.
Yeah, totes. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, he has gone, but the battle for the successor to own Trumpism is very much on at the moment, which is amusing in its own right.
So the number 10 put out a deeply averagely Instagrammable congratulations post, and some very funny commentary around that about what the Biden-Harris ticket thinks of Boris Johnson, and the answer is apparently not a great deal whatsoever.
Yes, I'm sure. I know we're going on a politics diversion, but these are unprecedented times, so it's been very noticeable after everyone called it. Basically, I mean, called it very late because no one wanted to.
Get it wrong.
Everyone wanted to be very conservative about this one with a small c. And it's been very noticeable about that there's been almost no commentary from them in the official statements, Biden or Harris, about Trump. They're just moving on.
Yeah. The reason that I was kind of bringing it back to Boris Johnson wasn't just for the sake of having politics chat, because I've spent a lot more time thinking about politics than football in the last week. It was also because the two things come smashing into each other in the form of Marcus Rashford shaming the government into a massive package of support for some of the most vulnerable people in society, which is in kind of direct contradiction to the genuine ideology of the ruling party, not just the party, not just the Conservative Party as a whole, but the bit of the Conservative Party that are in charge, the kind of British equivalent of the Tea Party.
Although since the last election, there is a bigger rump of that type of Conservative MP, a lot of younger MPs, new MPs who have sort of libertarian ideology,
Yeah.
and don't believe in supporting the most vulnerable in society, even if they are children. So yes, Rashford has shamed them. The government didn't want to give a win to the Labour Party on this one, and so left it a few weeks, and fairly predictably have then caved because they realised that Rashford is not going away. So they want to try and lop the head off this one. I suspect that Marcus Rashford, since this is a football show and we're talking about Marcus Rashford, is not going to give up either. I don't see why he would just go, oh yeah, it's all sorted then. He's very passionate about this topic of ending food poverty for young people, and he's going to keep putting pressure on people to do more.
So the question I have is, can you remember a time when an individual outside of the realm of politics had this much impact on a specific government policy? Well, when I can't off the top of my head.
There's been campaigners on single issues like, child safety and specific laws around releasing people from prison and crime and punishment, stuff like that. Campaigners, or road safety and a whole bunch of stuff. Individuals have always made a difference. I think it's rare that someone with such a public persona already does something which is essentially very risky for them anyway, because there could be a lot of blowback. Now, it's turned out that he has been absolutely exemplary in his argument and his methodology and how he's made this completely non-partisan. But that might not have been the case. You don't get a lot of celebrities doing this. It's that's why it's so special, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And, as partisan as I am, I still think, I'm all about Marcus Rashford saying that he had a really good conversation with the Prime Minister. I think it's fine to allow the people who would have not cared if it wasn't for you. It's fine to let them have part of the win. If this is the result, because the whole point of politics is to get the fact that there's going to be an awful lot of people less afraid today than they were yesterday. It's so massive.
We'll the cynic in me says, let's dig into the details of what this really is in the weeks to come, whether it's really new money and how much new stuff it really is. And so what is the incremental benefit? It's a big package, 400 and something million pounds. But in the context of the 254 billion that the government has borrowed from the Bank of England, it's QE, right? They're just printing money. It'll have to be paid back at some point. Just for COVID relief, it's a pittance.
Yeah.
And will make a real difference, and that is to say, something could have very easily have been done before now without any strain on the public purse. It was just all about ideology, which was, deeply concerning. And you're right to say that Marcus Rashford shamed them into change.
Yeah, and it's miraculous. And the one thing that I would say about the cynic, because I share the same position of cynicism about, not just this government's motives actually, but just government motive in general, really, but particularly when this is the government and their ideology is what it is. But if it is a kind of token bill, they've picked the wrong kid to give a token win to, because he's got people around him and is also clearly extremely aware of the kind of breadth of the situation, that you're not going to be able to just buy Marcus Rashford off by making him think he's got a win. Like, this is going to be about, he's not going to stop until people are fed, so. Yeah.
Well,
Beautiful.
that's it. Reds won this side of the pond, Blues won the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
Sorry to those of you listening that don't like us to talk about politics. We should just shut up and dribble, apparently. There are other podcasts out there, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of them talk about politics too, because guess what? That's what life is. Life is not just a siloed experience, So yeah, we're going to keep doing the show we've been doing for 11 years because it's what we do, and it's why.
Which coincidentally is about how long it took them to count all those ballots in Arizona.
My two favourite jokes were one person was like, I know what's happening in Nevada. If films have taught me anything, they've gambled away all the ballot papers and are trying to do wacky capers to get them back while hiding the fact that they've gambled them from everyone else. And the other one was, I think that Nevada's gone for Kanye and they're too embarrassed to tell us.
Kanye, who picked up about 50,000 votes off 6 or 7 states he was actually on the ballot.
Yeah. Good job. Good job he wasn't on the ballot in certain states.
In Minnesota, the We Want to Legalize Weed party or something like that picked up about 10% of the vote. So it's not going to do much. That needed to be a ballot initiative. In Oregon, all forms of drugs are now legal, or at least decriminalized for small amounts. Yeah,
decriminalized rather than legal.
A couple of lines of coke's fine. If you're into that kind of thing. In DC, they've legalised shrooms as well as weed, which is now legal in, I don't know, a dozen states or something like that.
Can I just say on behalf of the people of Oregon, I don't think that a couple of lines is fine now was really what this incredibly important progressive measure was about, Ed. It's about recognising...
I know what it's about. I'm being flippant.
Yes. Addiction is a health issue, not a criminal issue. So let's treat it as one. Well done to the people of Oregon. What a shocking turn of events that Oregon turned out to be a progressive and smart state, you know.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting place, Oregon, because, of course, it's the hotbed of some of the more dubious sort of militias and right-wing groups, as well as being... a very progressive state, and Portland's obviously, fantastic, beautifully pretty, extremely dirty city that has always liked. I mean, it's just filthy. Sorry to anyone who's from Portland, but yeah, great place to go if you like food trucks, good sights, outdoor living, and a few lines of coke. And
shout out to the people that we know from the podcast who were campaigning in some of those swing states. And good work. Yeah. Anyway, that's quite enough of that. We'll carry on and talk football for Patreon backers. And when we come back after the international break, I suspect there will be considerably less politics on the show.
There will be.
But,
And almost certainly we'll be back to talking doom about United. But for this week, 3-1 victory at Everton. Very fine performance indeed.
Yeah, and next comes the international break, and then after that we'll be back with a podcast after the West Brom game, off the top of your head with absolutely nothing to go on in the good tradition of the No Question About That podcast, formerly known as the Rantcast. What do you think the score will be in a game in 2 weeks' time?
I think it'll be 4-0.
Yeah, lovely. I'll go with 4-0 also, but I'm not saying who to. All right.
That's what I was saying too, yeah.
See you in a couple of weeks, everyone. Patreon backers, stay tuned.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.